And welcome to the BOCC meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first thing we have on our agenda are our minutes. Do we have any additions or corrections, gentlemen?
I don't.
I do not.
Okay.
We don't have them, do we?
They're in the
In that folder down there. Okay, here we go. I move we approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners in Montezuma County for August 2nd, 2022.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, August 2nd, 2022. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. The next thing we have is planning. So come on up. And the first thing we're going to have is a public hearing. And Ms. Purcell, I see you out there in Zoom land.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you fine, if you can hear us.
Okay,
All right, would you go ahead and call the roll, please?
absolutely. Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver,
Here.
Administrator Anderson,
Here.
Attorney McLaren,
Here.
and Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed subdivision amendment application to the Keith Evans two-lot moderate subdivision submitted by Keith Evans and Curt and Nancy Mangan on properties located at 10659 Road 26, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 15.51 acres more or less, and 10869 Road 26, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 16 acres more or less, both located west of Road 26, south of Road L, situated in Section 23, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com, public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 18th day of July, 2022, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Wednesday, July 27th, 2022.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, would you go ahead and give us an overview of
Would you come on up?
what we have?
Mr. Mangan is here as one of the applicants. So this is a boundary line adjustment within the subdivision, so it's amending the subdivision. Mr. Mangan would like to move the property line so that it lines up with the existing fence. So it'll, his property line will adjust to the south a few feet with Keith Evans' property. Keith's fixing to list his property to sell, and Mr. Mangan would just like to get that rectified before that happens so that it clears that up.
So is that with the current property description? Is that what you guys are doing?
Right. Where the fence line is on the south of the property, the actual property line is about probably 5 to 6 feet north of there where the actual property line is. And when I bought the property, I wasn't informed of that. And then Keith and I were talking about it, and some of my utilities are actually in that, in that area. So I went ahead and bought it from Keith, the strip that goes all the way on that south side. So we're just trying to make the property line where the current fence line is all.
Gotcha. And then that puts your utilities on your property.
Right.
That's a good thing.
That's a real good thing. No, that's actually a real good thing. Your utilities on somebody else's property usually doesn't work out somewhere,
No.
somewhere along the line.
Right.
Okay. Question,
No,
Commissioners?
this is pretty basic,
Okay.
pretty simple.
I don't
All
know
right.
that.
Well, since this is a public hearing, I do have to open it up for a public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application of the boundary line adjustment, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this hearing, and I will bring it back to the board.
No further questions.
I don't have any problem with it.
Okay,
It's a good thing.
What's your pleasure?
I move to accept this proposed subdivision amendment application to the Keith Evans two-lot moderate subdivision submitted by Keith Evans and Curt and Nancy Mangan on properties located at 10659 Road 26, Cortez, Colorado.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed subdivision amendment application to the Keith Evans two-lot moderate subdivision submitted by Keith Evans and Curt and Nancy Mangan on property located at 10659 Road 26, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 15.51 acres more or less, and 10869 Road 26, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 16 acres more or less. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I will close this public hearing. All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, commissioners.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have 3 minutes by my clock, so. Let's see, Ian, can you give any kind of report in 3 minutes? Or can you start?
3 minutes would, yeah, I'll give it a go.
All right, give it a go.
I guess the biggest thing that I've got to report last week, the Kim Purcell was served with a lawsuit by Secretary of State candidate Tina Peters regarding the recount that's been done and is going on. Ms. Peters sued every clerk, every county clerk in Colorado, as well as the Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold. Basically, what she's requesting is the Secretary of State come in and conduct another recount, take it over from the clerks. And so that was served last week. We're moving forward with the response. Again, every county's been sued, so we'll respond appropriately. The suit was brought in Denver District Court. And so as we move forward with that, I'll keep you guys updated and in the loop with that. Other than that, we do have a hearing in our land use violation case this Friday, the Charles Fish case. He has been served. It was originally set for last week, and the court continued it. The court wasn't available on that date, so they continued it to this Friday. So we will have that hearing on Friday. We're set this Thursday for a setting to set our Ellis Lewis land use matter for trial, and so we'll do that on Thursday. And other than that, it's just been day-to-day stuff that's kept me busy.
Okay. All right. Very good. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. I do have a question. Did you look at that Forest Service agreement?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right, I'm gonna add that to our unfinished business. I don't see it on here. Okay. All right, it's 9:10, so we will go to our next public hearing. Ms. Purcell, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver,
Here.
Administrator Anderson,
Here.
and Attorney McLaren.
Here.
Kim Purcell, Montezuma Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed two-lot minor and AR 10-34 rezoning application submitted by Daniel and Amanda Ryan on property located at 17390 Road 23, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 40.46 acres, more or less, located north of Road T, east of Road 23, situated in Section 16, Township 37 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 at 9:10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 18th day of July, 2022, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, July 27th, 2022.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Don, would you give us an overview?
Sure. Mr. Ryan, would you come up, please? Applicant is here. So the Ryans are proposing to split off their house in 25.5 acres from the 15 acres on the south part of their property. And that's basically it. Keep the house with some land and sell the south 15 acres.
Okay. Planning and zoning's recommendations?
They were unanimous to recommend it for approval.
Okay, it meets all the requirements of the land use code?
Yes.
All right, very good.
All the
Commissioner.
utilities, the house, nothing's gonna change there, and the 15 acres would be vacant.
Okay. Anything you would like to add, Mr. Ryan?
Not really. I don't,
Okay,
sure don't know. I don't know, I'm confused, but that's okay.
all right. Commissioners, questions, comments?
No questions.
Okay. Well, seeing no questions at this time, I will open this up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board. Packed crowd today, so. All right, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this hearing, and I'll bring it back to the commissioners. Any other questions, gentlemen?
No.
Okay.
I would so move we approve the proposed two-lot minor and AR 10-3-34 rezoning application submitted by Daniel and Amanda Ryan on property located at 17390 Road 23, Dolores.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept a proposed two-lot minor and AR 10-34 rezoning application submitted by Daniel and Amanda Ryan on property located at 17390 Road 23, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 40.46 acres more or less. Any further discussion?
No.
All those
No.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I will close this public hearing, and Mr. Ryan, you are good to go.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you.
You're done. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Anderson, I'm going to let you jump in and give us your report.
Just briefly, had a Zoom call with Lexipol this week to determine if software for county policy would be feasible. We're still waiting for information to come back from Lexipol. Had a Zoom call with the school superintendents, went really well. The topic was the SRS funding that's going to be dispersed. Attended a dispatch stakeholder meeting last week. I think in relationship to that, there's a bigger global picture that we'll all have to address at some point in time. On a good note, spoke with Empire regarding a feasibility study. on the solar panels at the fairgrounds. Verbally, they said that the substation is capable of holding that energy, so we're just waiting for something written to come back.
Okay. All right. 9:16, all right, commissioners, I'm gonna let one of you guys, whoever wants to get started,
Odd man out or what?
we'll go with that. We're gonna go to the left today.
Attended the county fair this week. Had a pretty good turnout out there on Saturday. Everything seemed like it was going pretty well. There's some issues that we need to address out at the fairgrounds. Those brought up to me by several constituents, and we'll have to discuss them at some point in time. But I'll get some more information on them before I bring them back to you. But mostly that's what was going on this last weekend, was stuff with the fair and the animals that were sick and a few other things going on, so kept me busy.
Very good.
Yeah, likewise, I was at the fair, I think 3 or 4 days, I don't remember. Horse showing, pig showing, and at the sale. And I haven't seen a sale room crowded like that in quite a while. I mean, there was quite a crowd, so this community really turned out to help those kids, and we appreciate that. I'd like to thank all the vendors and all the participants and the fair board and everyone for putting on such a good show. Appreciate it. And our banner out there on the tower out there was shiny and good looking. Thanks to the guys out there. Other than that, got some phone calls about some dispatch problems. And like Gerald, heard a few comments about some problems out at the fairgrounds, so we'll take those into consideration. And I've got to go to city council tonight. That's all I have.
Okay. I'm gonna try and get through mine too, so we're gonna zoom through this. This is gonna be nice. I actually attended the Zoom conversation with our administrator, with Lexipol, going over the software that they have basically available for what they're offering now for county governments. We will be evaluating that, whether we want to move or not move with anything with that. Immediately after that, we both went into an economic development meeting put on by our coordinator, Jessica Thurman. We had all the municipalities in here except for Dolores. Pretty good meeting, basically discussing the issues of how do we move forward with either land banking or infrastructure to move forward for some kind of workforce housing. So that conversation is going to continue to go as these funds are available. I had a discussion with the Mangan superintendent. As our administrator discussed, he also had a Zoom call with the superintendents on the discussion of the SRS funding. I also explained it to the Mangan superintendent, so I think when we get him in here, everybody is on board and everybody kind of understands what's going on. Got a phone call from our road superintendent, which is a little comical, but if you've looked at Facebook, we tried to get ahead of this. We realized that striping on Road 29 is a little
Wavy.
We realize the situation is there immediately. Paint is not easy to get right now, believe it or not. It's actually rather difficult, so we will get that striping from Highway 160 all the way just past County Road M corrected as soon as possible, so bear with us. We know it's bad, but that contractor will be taking care of it. Little comical, we had a power outage Thursday in the Mancos area, Mancos substation. Had several calls with the emergency manager of some of the issues that we might be facing as far as needing to house some elderly over there. Everything turned out okay. Empire Electric got everything back on relatively quickly, and I'll let you comment on that if you have any more to add to that.
Empire and
Commissioner.
Tri-State crews worked through the night. They didn't break. They just stood with it. Transformer went down. They thought they might be able to fix the transformer, and they couldn't, so they had to look and couldn't find one. So the portable substation that was available was brought in from Montrose and wired up and hooked. And so we were less than 24 hours down, so.
So anyway, they got it back up pretty quickly. But it did affect a lot of people, specifically the nursing home in Mancos, because there's a lot of electricity that runs a lot of O2, just the simple everyday things that you don't think about when the power goes out, that you lose that function, and we had to figure out how to get that situation resolved. Which is another reason why we talk about emergency generators in all of our facilities and our buildings here. Saturday I spent from about 6:45 till noon over in Dolores, volunteering for the Boggy Draw Beatdown. Great race. They had a 60-mile race, a 33-mile race, an 18-mile race, and a 15-mile race all going on at the same time. Was very well attended. And it was nice and hot and sunny that day. Went to the Dolores town meeting last night. A couple big takeaways. They were able to approve last night a $12,000 for the senior program. I had told them that we had approved our commitment, because Mancos wanted that we would be able to keep it open until June of 2023 because of our lack of funding. So they stepped forward, and I believe Mancos will do the same thing tomorrow night with their funding source for the senior center. And our emergency manager was there, along with Nicole, our grant writer, and Molly Rodriguez from Access, basically giving them an overview of the CIP program, the Community Intervention Program, and the funding that they have, that we have received through the CDS, the Congressional Direct Spending. So just to kind of give Dolores an overview of that, they'll do it tonight in Cortez, and then they're supposed to be with you, Commissioner, Wednesday in Mancos to give that same overview. And with that, I will stop, and we will go to our next public hearing. Ms. Purcell, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here?
Attorney McLaren.
Here.
Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed two-lot minor subdivision, an AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Justin and Brianna Wyatt on property located at 16659 Road 24, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 21.69 acres, more or less, located north of Road S, west of Road 24, situated in Section 21, Township 37 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 at 9:20 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online service at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com, public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 18th day of July, 2022. Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, July 27th, 2022.
Okay, thank you, Kim. All right, Don, overview, please.
Here comes one of our applicants. You're up. Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
No reason to sit through extra government talk.
Yeah,
You can come on up to the table.
yeah. Drag one up.
Yep, just grab whichever. So the Wyatts are proposing to split off the house with 5 acres and away from the rest of the approximately 16 acres of ag land. They're proposing to sell their house and then either build on the ag land or just farm it, whichever way it turns out. But utilities, everything's there to the house, and the remaining large portion is just the ag land that they farm.
Okay. Questions, Commissioner?
You're gonna sell your house and either do something with the other acreage? Is there access to that acreage already, or?
Yeah, the
They're on the,
south, west, east, yeah.
southeast.
Okay,
Southeast corner of that, yeah.
okay. I see it now.
Yeah, if they decide to build, that'll have to be a driveway permit, pulled from road bridge.
Yeah.
So that's on the very southeast corner where it kind of looks like it's not farmed right there right now?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what it,
Yeah, that's a bunch of pinyon trees, and there's a entryway there for like farm equipment.
okay. All right, Commissioner Copenhaver, questions?
That's that's just a equipment shed or something that's sitting in that corner, or?
No, there's nothing, there's just a handful of pinyon trees.
Ah,
I don't know what that,
Yeah, that's,
I don't know, that could have been the previous,
huh,
what that red thing is, I don't know, maybe a piece of equipment sitting there from,
yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing there right now.
Just trees and an access.
Correct.
yeah.
All right.
That's probably imagery from 2021
Okay.
Oh,
or 2020.
okay. All right. Well, with no other questions, I will go ahead and open this up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board at this time. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this public hearing, and I will bring it back to the commissioners. Planning and zoning's recommendations?
They were unanimous to recommend it for approval.
Okay. All right, commissioners?
Nothing further.
I don't have any problem
Okay.
with it.
Okay. I so move that we accept the proposed 2-lot minor subdivision in AR 3 through 9 rezoning application submitted by Justin and Brianna Wyatt, Wyatt, okay. On property located at 16659 Road 24, Dolores.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept a proposed 2-lot minor subdivision in AR 3 through 9 rezoning application submitted by Justin and Brianna Wyatt on property located at 16659 Road 24, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 21.69 acres more or less. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I will close this public hearing. Okay, you guys are,
Good to go. Thank you, folks.
thank you, guys. Have a great day. Okay, Mr. Haley, do you have anything else for us?
Not anything at this time. Attended the open house out at Pleasant View last night and listened to the discussion, and there's a lot of information that's still needs to be provided before we know the full extent of anything on a project.
Okay, very good.
Otherwise, just answering realtors' calls about whatever can happen on multiple properties. A lot of people fishing out there. They don't have a
Understand
property,
that.
but they're trying to figure out what they can do in our county, so. A lot of phone calls.
Good. Well, you made it very easy on us this week. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
You signed most everything we could come up with last week. I think that'll do it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, moving right along, we're going to go to the public comment session. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Persons speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted. Participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Morning.
Good morning.
On now. Thank you for the opportunity. I missed why we're not seeing Kim here today, so that's just a change up. But yesterday's meeting with Invenergy was perfect. I appreciated the county attorney's advice because it is very early in it. I went to the meeting last night, and there were quite a few people there, so their opportunity to talk to the commissioners will come, I know, as it comes before planning and then to the commissioners. So I hope that those folks that are there will give their true feeling of what their issues may be with that. It's something that's out there. I'm not going to argue that it is a private property issue too, and so. But there are lots of things that will come before you when that comes to, if it comes to the commissioners to decide on that issue of a solar project out at Pleasant View. I didn't think I had mentioned that. Also, since Kim's not here, I'll go ahead and do it though. My name is Alan Mays, 21693 County Road 21 out at Lewis. But I do appreciate the way you're looking at this project. It needs clarity, and so hopefully that company will bring a lot of information out that they need to explain why they're there. I asked the question last night, why that location?
So Mr. Mays, I don't want to get into specifics here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. So anyway, it was a good meeting. I think there was lots of folks there. So anyway, when it comes before you, that'll be the opportunity again for a good conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public comment session of this board meeting. And we're going to move right into our county operations. County operations, we have vehicle maintenance. Shane Higman, you are up. Can you make it work, Jim?
Well, only by resetting the system, and I wasn't
Oh.
here that day, so I didn't know it wasn't working until this morning. We were already too late.
You got 3 copies?
I can scan it real quick, and you can throw it up on the screen.
We're good.
So it looks like they finally found a single cab, box deleted truck for maintenance, so we can put a utility box on the back of it. I just need to try to get you guys' approval to, go forward with it. For the amount of $50,299 would be, the cost after everything off, after all the licensing fees and stuff. But, that's pretty well in line with what we've been seeing on all the other pickups. And they're hard to find, so, that's basically it. You can try to get the approval for this one so we can get it coming and get a box put on it so we can get it into the maintenance program.
So what is this one for, Shane? Because this one's new. I didn't see this on our packet at all.
It just barely came in this morning, so it's just, it's for the maintenance, for that replacing. We had talked about doing the maintenance pickup, and taking that dually that the maintenance pickup has and sending it to the landfill with a flatbed. So this is to replace that dually for the maintenance program.
Is that the one with the snowplow on it? Is that,
Yeah, they have, they
that
all
the
have
snowplow?
So that we had talked about, Dustin and those guys have that big dually, long bed that they can't get in anywhere. And, we were gonna replace it with that single wheel truck that's easier to get around in, and then take that dually and replace those two vehicles at the landfill with it.
Okay.
Just put a flatbed on it, and I talked to Mel, and he said that was fine, they could use that down there. And that's how it works into the fleet.
Okay, so
Operation.
this one is a purchase, or this is a lease
It's a
also?
purchase.
This is a purchase?
Yeah, it's one of the 99% purchase, 99% purchase from Enterprise, like we did on those, two for the road
Two.
department.
Two for the other, and this is a tradesman also, basically the same vehicle,
Yeah, just a single cab instead of a,
right?
four
With
door.
an 8-foot box.
Yeah,
So you're gonna put a new box on this?
a utility box out of, maintenance's budget. We'll put a utility box, a brand new utility box on this truck, and then, take the utility box off. I'm trying to work a deal with them, trying to trade out the dually box, because the dually box is a lot wider.
Right,
So we're gonna have to take that box and put a flatbed on it, because, the landfill really doesn't, they don't need a utility box on it. They said they have no use for a utility box, honestly, so
so that utility box that we're taking off of there,
we'll try to trade it to the company. I've been talking to a few companies about brand new utility boxes, but they also sell used utility boxes. So we'll try to sell it or trade it to them as part of the payment on the new utility box.
so is that really beneficial doing all that trading and swapping? Why don't we just look at one with the utility box on it?
Either way, you're gonna have to put a utility box on this brand new truck.
I understand that.
So that's what we're doing with the new
But-
utility box, is putting it on this truck.
Can't we get it with just a utility box already on it and not have to do
You
all the
can.
swapping?
Well, you used to be able to. You can't now. It's about impossible to find them with a utility box on them already. They've been trying to go that route too. This is the route we found through Enterprise that they could do.
Because they have a lot of them with utility boxes.
No, they do. And we can send it, I mean, we can take this brand new truck. That's basically what everybody does. You buy this truck and you just send it to the whoever has the box, and they put the box on before you receive the truck. They're all, box deleted long bed. So, I mean, honestly, all that they would do even in Denver is they would order a truck in just like this, send it to a upfit company there in Denver, have it upfit. It costs you about $3,000 or $4,000 to have them upfit with all the utility box and stuff, and we'll do that in-house and save the county $3,000 in the long run here to upfit it ourselves.
Okay. Commissioners?
I don't have any questions. I mean, finding these vehicles is tough.
It's about impossible right now. Hopefully it all comes around eventually.
So what's the cost of your box?
The boxes are ranging, I'm still getting quotes in on that, but And Enterprise was trying to actually find me upfit companies up there that could just put it on and have it delivered, but they're ranging anywhere from 7,500 to 10,000
For a box?
for a brand new box.
That
but
sounds
that's-
that's about normal.
That's, I mean, when flatbeds are costing 4,000 now, 3,500, and that's just a flat piece of metal, so, utility boxes. And we paid around 8,000 when we had the last one for, the mechanics there at the shop done. So, I mean, it hasn't really changed that much compared to everything else. It's gone up twofold in the last year.
So you're gonna have another 15 grand into this truck?
Probably around, there really isn't much cost in the upfit itself for if we do it in-house, so probably
Right, just-
around 10,000.
10?
Yeah.
How old is the utility box from the dually?
It's, what is that, 6 years, I think, 6 years old?
I was gonna say it seemed like it was brand new when I first started in 2019, so it's not very
Yeah,
old.
it's not extremely old.
So what was the purpose of buying a dually utility box when they purchased that thing? I mean,
You'd have to ask Mike Chenard, he's no longer here. It wasn't a great plan when that happened, but I guess that's why we have more than one hand in it now. I mean, it didn't really serve the purpose it needed to serve.
We have any other dualies?
That's it.
not like that, not with the
Okay.
utility box. We have some dualies with,
Well, we have
Yeah.
dualies with dump boxes on them.
sure.
But we don't have, just a few at the road department, and we have like 3 or 4 dualies at the road department with, dump boxes on them, but we don't have any other utility box. They just don't fit in our parking lots, they don't, even for my purposes, I couldn't drive a dually with a utility box around, it would just be too cumbersome of where I need to go. It was a bad plan when it was initiated.
Okay, kinda,
Move we accept the open-end lease rate quote from Fleet Management from Enterprise, the amount of $50,299.
Second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the open-end equity lease rate quote from Fleet Management Enterprise Corporation, for a 2022 Ram Tradesman 4x4 regular cab, 8-foot box, 2,500 in the amount of $50,299. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, you just need this one signed?
We don't have to even sign it.
Okay.
I'll do the e-sign here
Okay.
this afternoon, so just needed the approval.
So this will just be for Kim's record?
Yep.
All right, Kim will pass that over to your packet.
Thank you, sir.
The only other things I have is, I'm hoping to have by the end of this month, by the next time I come in, have the pool car thing completely up and running, have all those swapped around the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Still ironing through like the schedules and getting those cars moved around, but that should be, by the beginning of next month, should be done.
Okay,
We actually did get some good news on the sheriff's. We got 10 out of the 14 we ordered that actually have build dates in the middle of August. So 10 out of the 14, the other 4 got canceled, but 10 out of the 14 are being built. So we're gonna make some headway on the sheriff's fleet this year.
good.
So that's better than all of them being canceled for sure. And the pickups we just got for the road department are getting all the lights. We have one of them hit the road, and the other is still getting lights and all this stuff on it, but should be on the road in the next week or two, especially by next month's meeting. And also working on, I need to get some pictures of some titles, which I talked to you about. I just haven't made it in here. We've been really busy. But to get those Tahoes that we have over there, to try out the Enterprise selling those vehicles for us.
Right,
we'll get
because you
that.
said you had 10 or 12 vehicles to get rid of?
Not yet. I will by the end of the year, for sure have 10, but right now there's only 3 Tahoes over there that I'm gonna try to get
Okay,
going with them and see how this process, the sales process with them actually works.
mm-hmm, good.
But we're gonna have that done by the end of this month too, so it's gonna be a busy month.
All right.
Other than that, that's it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good?
That's it.
All right.
All
thanks.
right, thank you, Shane. I don't see, oh, I do see Dustin. Come on down, Dustin. Building and grounds maintenance.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, we did get the panel and the concrete done on that steer wash bay out at the fairgrounds.
Mhm.
I'm
We
still
s-
waiting on the dry well.
We saw it,
And did it,
Looks good.
you like it?
yeah.
And then, we installed a mini split for George over in his coroner's office. We're having a hard time getting the compressor for the AC unit that was on the roof. So that was a good solution. And it seems to be working good for him now, so. And then, during the 4th of July weekend, that backflow at the Annex 1
Mhm.
relieved inside the building because they didn't install a drain on it when they initially put it in. So we drilled through the wall and added a drain. And then we also drilled the wall at Annex 3. It's in the basement because it's the same deal. There's a sump pump down there, but there's a wall, and the sump pump's on the other side of the wall from the backflow. So we drilled through that wall, and we're gonna run some PVC over to that drain so that we don't have a flood situation.
Is that actually a sump in Annex 3, or is that actually a lift station? What is that?
There's, on that side of the building at the sump pump, there's a lift on the other side.
On the other side, okay.
And then, this generator's programmed to run every other Monday, which is usually payroll week, is, I think, how it works out. And then, I gave Laurel an estimate for the generator at Annex 1. She's gonna make sure that she can use her grant funds for that. So then we'll move on from there when I hear back from her. And then we're installing a mini split in the new office at Road and Bridge currently. So, because there's no, there was no registers on that side of the building. It was just storage or something when it was originally designed. So there was nobody that I know of knows of access to the crawl space, or if there is a crawl space.
It's all slab on grade,
Yeah. But the registers for the AC are in the floor,
right?
so that seemed like the best solution for that, so.
So there's a new office out there for,
For Mercedes, we built it last winter, or finished it out last winter.
so we have 3 offices out there now? For,
One, two,
Yeah, one,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 in Rob's, 5 office spaces.
okay,
But the others, out by the windows, they all had HVAC
Mhm.
from the existing.
from the main part of the building,
Yeah.
okay.
Other than that, just the normal stuff.
Okay, did you get with Justin? Justin was in here yesterday at the workshop. We had a lot of questions on the quote that he got, or you got, I don't know who got it, as far as the suppression system for the static line that goes to the suppression system.
Okay. No, I have not. He
Get
didn't-
with-
he didn't
Get
give
with
me-
Justin,
Okay,
okay?
I'll get with him.
Anything else, Commissioner? All right,
no,
Thank you.
okay, thank you, Justin.
thank you.
All right, Mr. McLean, IT.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I don't have a whole lot other than an update. You had asked me last week to let
Yep.
you know on the CDOT thing, so I'll give you a good summary of what it was. It was pretty typical of any CDOT meeting. The thing that bothered us the most, we went in with the United Front as a region though. I mean, everybody stood their ground, and what we found out is that in the broadband side of things, CDOT is competing with us for the same pool of money, the same grant. It's like, okay, this is not right, guys. It's just not fair to us, because we were really concerned that they may be able to get it just based upon who they are, because they're so intertwined with the state and that. But we think we have a better grant proposal. We think our application is going to be better. So, you know, we'll have to see. It's sounding, they're working with Arcadian mostly, and that's what most of this was wrapped around, was them and Arcadian as a private backbone fiber provider. And they're working with Arcadian to come over Wolf Creek and down 160. Obviously, for them, they do have a priority as far as 160 goes, but they didn't sound like they were changing their rules, and even though they were told to make it easier to work with them, doesn't sound like that's going to be the case. It's just, they're just still making it very complicated to get to work together. So we're still working it out. We'll have another meeting here soon. I don't remember when exactly, but everybody from Region 9 that needed to be there was there. So, you know, that side of it's good. I can tell you that Bob Pfeiffer got it was basically an hour of him getting his butt chewed out from a lot of people, and he finally got it into his head that maybe we needed to have it. So CDOT on Bob Pfeiffer's side has actually just created a new position to handle the fiber side of it and take some of that away from Bob Pfeiffer, so maybe that'll help. We'll find out. His name is Jonas. So we've invited him to our next broadband meeting, which will be Thursday.
Okay, very good, and thank you for attending that for me. Thursday morning, it seemed like our Zoom calls were, well, obviously you can't get to 3 or 4 of them at the same time, but La Plata County Commissioner Matt Salka had called me and had a lot of concerns about it. That's so hopefully you were able to discuss his concerns also for us at that broadband meeting with CDOT.
Yeah, so, and I spoke with Commissioner Salka in great length while I was there, so, yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I really don't have anything new. I mean, we're just the same old, same old. You all know, or you may have heard by now, that Isaac and Morgan had their baby, but it was crazy premature. She's not even technically due till October, so they're having lots of complications. So he's still in Grand Junction, and baby's flatlined a couple of times, and they're trying to keep her alive, and so we just keep our prayers out for Isaac. And I told him, you know, family first, obviously.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I was unaware that they had had their baby, so, anyway.
And the only other thing is I've been working real close with that promoter from LA on this September 4th event. I helped to create the seating charts and go through all the design work with that. I helped to find a ticketing, I mean, just, it's ridiculous. But we're trying to get there. We're trying to make this successful, because this could be a good deal for Montezuma County if we can make this semi-successful. I mean, you know, Little Texas is not, they're a pretty big name. Everybody knows who they are. So we've been working, I've been spending a lot of my off time dealing with that, so trying to figure out a way to make it successful.
So is that gonna be an outdoor? That'll all be outdoor, correct?
It is outdoors. It's in the rodeo grounds, in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
She's already, most of the, like the sound company, the sound and lighting company and all that stuff, that's all been arranged. She's still working on vendors and that. I think that the liquor license for that was approved for that special event last week, I think, or something like that. So, because she had emailed me this morning and asked me, I said, I believe it has been. So you could start looking for some beer and wine vendors kind of thing, right? So, other than that, you know, mostly it's broadband. You know, when I can, I'm just spending a lot of time on this broadband. We have to have this application in by September 18th, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
So,
All right, very good.
anything for me?
No.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Doug? I'll go capture Doug.
Chair's gonna get away from me one of these days.
Then we're gonna go ahead and skip our GIS for the day, and it's 10 o'clock, and I see the BLM in the back. So come on down. Miss Connie and Mr. Ryan? Ray.
Ray.
I was close. Ray. I haven't seen either one of your faces for a few months.
I know, we're trying to break through this virtual world and get back into face-to-faces.
I like it.
Oh, me too. So I thought I'd let Ray start this morning since most of the goings-on in Montezuma County are all about them.
Is the microphone on? If you need it.
We do need it.
Okay.
Thump it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, pull it closer to you.
How about now?
Yeah,
Good,
I like
good.
that.
So thanks for the opportunity to speak with you guys for a few minutes this morning. I have a few things to pass on. First is our visitor center is open normal hours for us. Long time we were affected by COVID, but we're open normal hours, which is Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. We anticipate a big floor project this winter, which could lead us to be closed for a month or two, but otherwise we're open for normal business hours. We've talked for probably several years about Painted Hand, about a big project out at the Painted Hand site, which will involve a new crowned gravel road, a new gravel parking lot, picnic facility, a picnic shelter, restroom, improved trail, interpretive signs. And we're finally moving forward. That project is out for bid right now, and we anticipate that the project will be worked on this fall and completed by next spring. We're excited to see that happen. James Dietrich asked me to talk about Gunnison sage grouse. There's a statement in our resource management plan, which was completed in 2010, that we would consider reintroducing sage grouse to the monument. There's currently a statewide planning effort talking about sage grouse and sage grouse habitat. The wildlife biologists for the field office and the monument assure me that we don't have suitable habitat on the monument. We don't have the big sagebrush flats that the sage grouse are looking for. So we don't have any plans to do anything with sage grouse on the monument. If anything, our next action would be that if and when we do an amendment to our resource management plan, we would consider removing that statement. There just isn't suitable habitat for us.
When does that happen? How often do you
Do the amendments?
Yeah.
It's an as-needed basis, and we're talking about some issues that I think I've mentioned to you guys before about transportation planning and looking at a number of roads that through the planning process 12 years ago were closed. And, we never actually closed them, and we're talking about how we could move forward and reconsider some of those decisions. That's the biggest thing that could lead us to do a plan amendment. We're at the beginning of that process. But if we do a plan amendment, we may look for other low-hanging fruit, if you will, decisions that were made 12 years ago that maybe we've reconsidered in the last 12 years that we would want to do. So it's as needed. But that travel planning piece is the one that I'm most aware of that could lead us to go down that road.
Okay.
And then the only other thing for me to pass on is Yellow Jacket Flowdine. We've talked about that a number of times. We had a couple of opportunities for public input a couple of months ago, a virtual meeting and then a field trip. They were both well attended. They were both contentious. We're continuing to move forward. We're continuing to work on the programmatic agreement with the State Historic Preservation Office and the National Advisory Council. We're not moving fast, but we are continuing to move forward with that. That's all I have, unless you guys have questions for me.
I don't really have any. I
No,
mean,
I
we
don't.
did have a discussion on that MOU yesterday as far as, with the sage grouse and the resource management plan.
Okay.
So James presented that to us yesterday, that MOU.
Okay. That's all for me.
All righty, moving on to Tres Rios. A couple of things I just want to update you on, and one of them pertains to the Gunnison Sage Grouse Resource Management Plan amendments. BLM Colorado is taking on those as statewide effort. So all resource management plans associated with Gunnison Sage Grouse, habitat as identified by Fish and Wildlife Service under Endangered Species Act, will see amendment process being reviewed and an environmental analysis done. My understanding is you guys are happy to sign a cooperating agency agreement, so we're really happy that you're going to be actively participating in that effort. So we did conduct a public meeting, was that 2 weeks ago up in Dove Creek, and it didn't have a lot of folks showing up, but we did a virtual one and an in-person one, and had some real good conversations with community members and the county commissioners up there. The statewide team will be leading that, and so once the scoping period ends, which is pretty soon, and I can get those dates again to you and James, they'll move on with the environmental analysis, identifying issues and do the analysis. But that will be done by a team at the state level, since it does affect multiple field offices, Canyons of the Ancients, and some of that. So second to that, we have a big game corridor resource management plan amendment process as well going on at the state level, which I believe that you guys are going to want to be cooperating agencies on that as well. There's a statewide team working on that, and scoping is being conducted. I will refresh your emails with that information. There's a great brochure on it. There's a scoping letter, but we will be asking for input from all of our constituents and yours, as well as asking for cooperating agencies, which again, I believe that you guys have indicated you want to actively participate through that process. So I can get you more detail in the future with the team members from that, but just wanted to make sure that that's kind of on your radar, that those two processes will continue on, and those are statewide efforts which will amend and look at several resource management plans throughout Colorado. So, and it's mainly related to oil and gas, so I'm sure that you guys will want to be involved. All right, so that's statewide information. As far as locally, we are out of fire restrictions, have been for a few weeks now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't have to reconsider those at any time soon. So we're happy to hear that, and it sounds like some of the other areas are going out as well. I think that Southern Utte's going out. I haven't heard about Ute, Mountain Ute, and that sort of thing. So just an update on that. We haven't had a lot of fire activity, knock on wood. Single tree fires, some in our wilderness study areas. I think Canyons has had a few starts. We always have them over on Weber Mountain and Menifee Mountain, and have been pretty assertive and had plenty of resources to approach those aerially, so that's a good thing. So it's been pretty quiet, and hope that that will continue on as the monsoon moisture sticks around, but now it's the time to dry out again, isn't it? So,
Yeah. It possibly could dry out, but I hope it doesn't.
Yep.
I was in the forest this weekend, and gosh, it looks really good up there.
La Platas are getting some really good rain,
Really
so,
looks good up there.
yeah, fingers crossed that that continues and it really helps our situation. I know the lower elevations have been a lot more spotty in where
Mhm.
we're getting it, but, you know, Mother Nature only cooperates so much, but we're happy when she does.
Right.
All right, the next item I have is, I understand that Montezuma County is working with the Mangus Trails Group on the Aqueduct trailheads. Happy to announce that we do anticipate getting money next fiscal year, and our fiscal year starts October 1, to work on the north trailhead there at Aqueduct. So I know that the trail group has been working with the county on possible grant applications as a backup, but we're pretty confident that that money's going to be here, and we're working on the contract specs right now. So that's always a good sign when our engineers are out and working on setting up the contract specs. We would not be able to roll that request for bids out until next fiscal year when the money's actually here. So depending on continuing resolutions or budgets, that would be the thing that would either slow it down or speed it up.
So you're July to June, your fiscal
We
year?
are, September 30 is the end
Okay.
of this fiscal year, and then October 1 is our new fiscal year.
So it wouldn't be until October 1 of next year?
At the earliest, yeah,
At
that
the
we would
earliest.
roll out. And if we're under a continuing resolution without an approved budget from Congress, we can't issue any contracts until we actually get a budget from Congress. So if we're under continuing resolution, we would not issue a contract until that budget comes through from Congress. Okay? Let's see, I think that that was all I had, other than a reminder that our Southwest Resource Advisory Council meeting is in Gunnison in September, the 7th and 8th. We'll do a field trip on the 7th, which will be looking at the Alpine Loop and some of the issues associated with that. And then we'll have the actual meeting, and I believe it is an in-person meeting, one of our first ones in, over 2 years. So it will be in person. I think we're going to also offer a virtual option as well. So plan on the 8th of September. We'd love to see Montezuma County have a presence at that. I think that your participation is always appreciated. Every county that is associated with Tres Rios and Canyons of the Ancients, we love to hear from you, and we love to see your attendance.
Would you also send us an e-bite on that?
I will.
Because it's, for me, one, if it comes digitally and then I can sync it to my phone, it just makes it easier.
Very good. Yep, I sure
Because I
relate to that.
have a tendency to lose some of my papers as I scribble my notes on them. But if you could do that, I'd appreciate it.
Very much so,
All right,
Jim.
thank you, Connie.
I think that's all I have as updates, unless the board has questions for me. And I also wanted to say hello, Travis Anderson. Nice to see you here as the new county administrator. So you will be getting emails from us. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any questions?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Do we have a representative on the Resource Advisory Council right now?
You do not.
Mm-mm.
And James Dietrich was part of the Resource Advisory Council for many years, and we're always recruiting for new participants, and I believe that we'll be requesting for applications here in the fall. So I'm hoping that James or one of you or whatever does submit an application. There is a category specific to governments, so category 3. So always love to see county commissioners as part of the RAC. Their participation is very well valued and appreciated, and you bring that perspective from your county. So I'll be looking for them, Gerald. I will
served
be
my
sure.
time on it.
Well,
Understand.
guess what? Your time is again.
There you go.
I'm not going to let you off that easy.
Very good. Is
Are we-
that
No.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
no questions? All right.
No.
We will see you next month then.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ray and Connie. Appreciate it. All right, we're gonna jump right into unfinished business, and the first thing we have is a discussion today and a decision related to the water suppression system at the fairgrounds. I think because we don't have all the information in front of us that we asked for yesterday at our workshop, we're gonna have to put this, I guess we'll just keep it there, Travis, until we actually get the other information we have to actually make a decision. So that's, we're gonna postpone. We will move on, however, to the discussion for the fees. That, again, was discussed yesterday. The two proposals brought forward by the fairgrounds manager yesterday. And gentlemen, I mean, we had a lot of discussion, so what we're looking at here basically for the public is we are trying to put the fairgrounds to where we can at least break even and not be losing the amount of money that we're losing out there annually. So we've had the fairgrounds manager put together two fee schedules here, which we have fee schedule 1 and 2. One does not stop the bleeding all at one time, and this is kind of, I mean, we haven't looked at this apparently for at least probably 15 years, 12 to 15 years, which is our bad. I'll own that for us. And now we're going to have to raise these fees to try and catch up to the rising cost of inflation and just what it takes to run the facility out there just to try and break even. Proposal fee schedule number 1 will not do it. Fee schedule 2 comes very close to doing it. So with that, gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the schedules? We had a lot of discussion yesterday. Which way do you want to move on this one?
I want to ask him about that, those contracts. Ian, legally, the contracts that he's already made for this next year, at the rate that we are at now, is that binding? Can we make them pay this new rate, or since they've already signed the contract?
Yeah, to the extent that a contract's already been signed, that's locked in.
Okay.
We can't up the rate. I mean, we could certainly ask that they amend the contract, but why would they?
Okay.
I mean, if they're locked in.
But all new contracts will have to go
All
to
new
this
contracts would fall under this, and my understanding from yesterday was this would start the first of next year.
Correct. So then all of the booking fees are already booked for 2023 under the current contract that we have.
Yep.
So this proposed fee for, if we go with fee schedule number 1, would not be applicable to the big events,
Till
to any of the events that we have.
That have been
at all.
booked.
So we're not gonna see any relief until 2024.
Well, not necessarily, because what I would advise you guys do is, I mean, if you want to make this effective January 1st of 2023, if that's what you want to do, then you can sign new contracts. I mean, say somebody comes in for an event next week, and they want to book for 2023. They would be subject to this fee schedule, even though other places have already locked in for 2023.
Correct. So this fee schedule would then become, right,
It would become effective January 1st of 2023 for anybody who books
moving
as of the
forward.
approval of this fee
Right.
schedule.
For any events that occur in 2023, we can make it.
So,
Unless there's already a
Unless
contract
it's already
signed. I mean, say he booked some, yep.
so everybody basically up until this point would be under the current
Exactly.
contract
Yep.
agreement.
Yep, that's exactly how it would work. But anything moving forward for any event that happened after January 1st of 2023, they would be subject to this new fee schedule. It's a little bit of a tough deal because You know, the people who booked in advance for 2023 are gonna get a lower rate than the people who are booking late for 2023. I mean, the other thing you guys could do is you could conceivably make it effective 2024, but I mean, then you're pushing it way down the road,
Pushing it
so.
way down the road and we can't.
In this case, it might just be a matter of if you booked early, you got lucky.
So we did have, we did have Justin, we did ask some questions yesterday that we had him bring those back to us. Do we want to actually make this decision today, or do we want to let him get back to us after the discussions that we had asked yesterday?
I mean, I think that's up to you guys. I think if you want to approve this first rate schedule, we can have a motion and a vote on it, or if you want to table this till next week, that's an option as well.
Well, we did ask him a lot of questions that he couldn't answer, that he needed a little bit more time. So I don't know if I want to push this decision today. One more week is not going to hurt it. To let him get back to us on the,
Yeah, let's
on the
let
issues that-
Justin get back to us.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
then
know
we'll,
we beat this to death and pushed it down the road, but like you said, one week's not gonna affect it one way or another.
okay.
Unless-
And then
Unless we get a whole bunch of people booking up for next year and this.
Travis, make sure that you get Justin on the workshop again so that he can bring forth those answers that we've asked for. So if you guys are okay, we'll move this 1 week, Commissioner Copenhaver.
I would just soon make a decision
Okay,
That's
myself.
fine with me too, I don't.
I mean, I think we should, I move that we accept this first proposed rate schedule for this year and then revisit this thing a year from this day, or in that time frame, and see where we're at every year with this fairgrounds, not just let it go and
which
let it go.
I agree with that, and I think we pretty much gave him that direction yesterday, that we would revisit this every year for a while, just because we can't let this happen. So I definitely agree with that. We need to look at it. I would hate to lock this in even for a 3-year rate right now, because of the inflation rates, but.
And so,
Right.
Commissioner, I think in your motion, I think that it just needs to be clear that this is going to be effective beginning January 1st of 2023.
For any events that's scheduled for 2023.
Yes. Yep.
Newly scheduled events?
All new scheduled events, even if they're scheduled next week,
Right.
for 2023, should be at this rate.
Okay.
Any new events that are scheduled.
Okay.
I'll second that. Get this out of the way.
Okay, now let me see if I can recapture that. So it's been moved and seconded to accept fee schedule number 1 for Montezuma County Fairgrounds proposed rate schedule change for 2023 under the proposed fee schedule number 1 submitted by our fairgrounds manager, and any event moving forward will be subject to this fee schedule for 2023.
Yep. Any event after January 1st of 2023 that's booked from here on out.
All right,
Yes.
did I get it all? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're done. All right, now we have a discussion on our MOU with the AAA. Here again, this is related to the grow dome that the AAA has purchased 5 grow domes. Commissioner Copenhaver, if you want to give a little more on that, I'm going to allow you to do that since you're kind of the lead on this one.
The AAA actually purchased 5 of these grow domes, is my understanding, and have a contract for 5 of them. They're 42-foot premium grow domes. They actually cover 1,385 square feet of space. They purchased these in hope that they would be able to grow some food locally in a greenhouse system that would support the senior center menus, or senior centers to participate in growing some of these food sources for their own use and to be used locally in the communities, and with the hope that some of these elderly community senior center residents and members would participate in this production of this food as a project for them to have some ownership in and be involved in, to keep them busy and things for them to do. I think these actual funds come from the ARPA funds that was put out here a year or so ago. Hopefully, originally, Dolores County was supposed to get one of these grow domes, and Toyoak was to get one for the Ute tribe, and Dolores County had turned theirs down, so then they offered it to Montezuma County. So we're looking at a place we could put this and probably participate in this program for the seniors.
Right now, after our discussion, we have our only site that we have available, and unless there was other discussion, I know that myself and Attorney McLaren had to step out for a phone call, but was at the fairgrounds, and the cost to put it together at the fairgrounds is right around $40,000, I think is what he said yesterday, plus or minus. Depending on what kind of power source it has to be there, or may not have to have a power source. So the MOU, I think our attorney had some reservations with it, the way it, with some of the language in there and what it holds us and binds us to. So Ian, I want to let you.
Well, I think there's a couple things. I think that the first question is, do we want this MOU to be with Montezuma County or with the Montezuma County Senior Center? I don't know how much leeway there is in terms of whether it has to be with the Senior Center. My advice would be to make it with Montezuma County based on Jonathan Parker's comments yesterday. It didn't sound like the Senior Center really had the ability to manage this or administrate this, and it didn't sound like they really wanted to be involved. We certainly could make it with Montezuma County. I think we just need to figure out who the point person's going to be and who's going to kind of head this up. The other big issue with this MOU is that it does, as written, require the AAA to be added as an additional insured. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. That's going to be a pretty substantial insurance cost. If you guys do decide to move forward with this project, my advice would be to negotiate with AAA and see if we can get that provision removed. Again, there's not going to be, in my mind, huge liability for AAA. They're providing the grow dome. I mean, we're going to be doing most of the work in it, and so that is something that I think that we should explore if you guys really want to move forward with this project. And then I guess the last thing is just the question about the master gardener. Certainly, the language of the MOU does mandate that if we sign this, we will work with the master gardener for 5 years. It doesn't mandate that AAA will provide the master gardener. It sounded like from our grant writer's representation yesterday that there is money available for that master gardener. I think if that's something that we want, which it seems like it would be a good idea to have, I think we need to tweak this language a little bit to mandate them to provide a master gardener, and then obviously we're already mandated to work with them if one is provided. So those are, I think, the things legally that we need to look at. But ultimately, I think the first step is trying to figure out where the site's going to be. Getting some of the funding still lined up. It sounds like the grant writer's working on some of that. So
Yeah, it sounds like the grant writer feels she can be successful in getting the grant to basically put the infrastructure in. If I heard that correctly, really it's just it's just the site. Do we really want it at the fairgrounds, or would it be more usable somewhere else?
We had a discussion after you guys were gone. I forgot about that, but we had talked to our grant writer and our economic development gal, and they're going to see if we can partner with somebody to help us out at these community gardens, how better we can use this facility. And We've got some land we promised to landscape out by the courthouse out there. That this would fit real nicely, and they're looking at that too. They're gonna get with James and come back with some ideas. So before we sign this, let's see what they have to say.
I think it would get much more, better participation if it was here in,
Oh,
in the city.
Yeah.
Or
Totally agree.
around here close where
Somewhere
people can
closer
actually get
than-
to it, than clear out the fairgrounds. That's my main concern, is out the fairgrounds, I just don't know that we're gonna get participation from the seniors, hardly at all.
Yeah.
But here, if it's close in town and stuff, I think we can get some participation.
Okay, well, so to answer your questions then, Ian, I think that we have to get this contract to where it is with Montezuma County and not the senior program, so I think that needs to be clarified. As this contract is right now, this MOU, I don't think that we're willing to sign it, from what I hear, so.
So, in terms of guidance for me, I guess a couple things that I need to know. I mean, certainly the party thing is pretty clear, and that's a pretty easy change to make. The additional insured provision, would you like me to negotiate
No.
that?
Yes.
Okay.
Take it off, because they're basically, they're purchasing it, they're giving it, and then it becomes ours. So there's no reason to have them as additionally insured.
What is the board's feeling on the master gardener? Do you want to try to mandate them to provide that? Are we comfortable without it being mandated? I mean, obviously, we're by this language, we're mandated to work with the master gardener, assuming one's provided, but nothing here mandates them to provide one. I don't know whether you
Yeah.
guys have feelings on that. How important is the master gardener? What do we want to do with that?
We discussed that also, and Extension has a master gardener program, so this might fit right in with Extension also. We'd be able to run some.
So do we want to leave it then as is, where we have to work with their master gardener for 5 years if they provide one? Or do you want to just try to get that provision out?
It's a good question.
From listening to the explanation from Jonathan, it sounds like they are providing that master gardener for 5 years. I know what the contract, that's part of it. That was part of what the AAA purchased with the Grow Dome, was that master gardener for 5 years.
So just so you understand,
Correct.
the contract as it's written is not going to mandate them to provide it. And so if we're comfortable with that, then we
I
can
think-
roll.
I think the discussion at AAA, when we were discussing some of this stuff, was basically, their discussion was if you had a master gardener, it didn't matter, it didn't have to be theirs. That they wanted some master gardener to be, and there's lots of
Some
people
knowledge.
that have the knowledge and are certified as a master gardener that could do this. It didn't have to be theirs.
So the way this is written, at
It
this
is.
point, if they decide they want to provide one, we have to work with that one for 5 years regardless of whether we have one or not. So, I mean, we can leave it like that, we can adjust it. It's really up to you guys.
I'd say leave it in.
I mean, I don't think it'll be a problem personally. I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's a big problem. I just want you guys to be clear on
Yeah.
what it says and what it's mandating. Okay. So the additional insured and changing the party, those are the two big ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll reach out to AAA this week and see if we can't, I mean, again, they supplied us with this MOU. I'll redline a copy and send it over to them, and then they can make comments on the changes that we make.
Okay.
Thanks.
So that'll have to be added once you get that contract back?
Right.
Yep.
With those, okay. So that will be moving forward. All right, next we have our decision as it relates to the MOU with the BLM. We discussed all of these yesterday. We have one talking about the sage grouse, and then our discussion for our handbook will be left off because we don't have that to talk about today. So, gentlemen, we have two MOUs in front of us. James presented them yesterday. I think I was pretty comfortable once we had the cooperation and coordination language in there. Anything else you want to discuss before we move forward on these two?
No.
I don't have anything. I think these basically, they will have to keep us up to speed as to where they're going and where they're at in these processes, and at least we'll be involved with it and be kept up.
Well, we have a seat at the table, just like Connie was saying just a minute ago. So
I so move we sign the MOU with the BLM on, for the development of the Gunnison Sage Grouse Resource Management Plan Amendment and Environmental Impact Statement. There.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Department of the Interior, the BLM, for the Gunnison Sage Grouse Resource Management Plan Amendment and Environmental Impact Statement. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Right. And then we also have, basically the other letter, right?
Yeah, that's for the corridors for them.
Mhm.
I move we approve and sign this memorandum of understanding with the Bureau of Land Management, Colorado State Office, and Montezuma County for the cooperative development of the big game habitat movement route and migratory corridor resource management plan amendment.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to sign this MOU with the U.S. Department of the Interior, the BLM, and Montezuma County for their cooperative development of the big game habitat movement route and migration corridor resource management plan. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and last we have Schedule A agreement that was sent over yesterday that I gave to Ian to look at, which is basically just paying Montezuma County for the asphalt patching that we did up on 526 Dolores Norwood Road. And that's part of that Schedule A agreement that we already have with the Forest Service, so probably just need to approve that also. If you guys have any other questions on that?
No.
Do you have that with you, Ian?
I just have the electronic copy.
Okay, can you pull that up? I've got it here too, Ian, if you don't find it, so.
I should be able to broadcast it to the.
Okay. So basically what this is that we will be billing the U.S. Forest Service for the actual costs incurred not to exceed $19,500. And it's for the 150 tons of asphalt to repair the worn chip seal edges and fill the potholes, bringing the road back to a safe driving surface, which was basically 6 loads of asphalt, which equaled 150 tons. It is part of our Service A agreement that we have with the Forest Service.
I'm not able to get it to broadcast. I need to do it from my computer. So I think if you do a motion from here, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay. Move we approve the road project agreement between Montezuma County and USDA Forest Service and San Juan National Forest, which is FS agreement number 22R0110213000-039.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the agreement for the road project agreement between Montezuma County and the Forest Service, San Juan National Forest, for the 2022 Dolores Norwood Forest Service Road 526 Blade Patch. And the Forest Service agreement number is 22R0110213000-039. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, well, I see Mr. Dietrich just walked in the room, so James, if you want to, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and get him out of the way before we go into that executive session,
Okay.
so you don't have to sit around and wait.
He's with you guys.
We just approved and I think we signed
We
these.
needed- that's
Or do
one
you
we
need
Yeah.
this
signed.
copy for you?
We just signed them.
Oh, you just signed it? Oh, okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We're ahead of you.
I apologize, you guys. I was meeting with Connie in there, and so I wasn't able to kind of listen in. I normally do, but, okay, so, sorry about that.
That's okay, we have that one. Is that for Kim? I can sign another one for you.
No, that's just fine. We'll just use one, and Kim will send me a copy, and we'll be good to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Apologize about that, you guys.
No, great.
Okay, so we did have a conversation about the Gunnison sage-grouse in there, and it does sort of sound like they're planning to probably reconsider that it's in that resource management plan. And I've always wondered this too. It just does not appear that we've got enough habitat out there to really make it suitable.
Yeah.
And if you really look at the northern part of that county, we just do not have a lot of sage up there that's the type of sage and the type of terrain that those birds are really looking for. So while we're certainly under some scrutiny, I think we're in pretty good shape with that and probably less likely to actually receive those birds. And we'll see how everything pans out, but feel pretty good about that. I think in a lot of ways, staying engaged with the big game corridors, probably for Montezuma County, that has a lot more impact. So we definitely want to stay on that one for sure. Is it okay to go ahead and finish up my report for the week?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the other thing is, I've been working with Don Hoffines and the Make Us Trail group on trying to get the parking area in up there at Aqueduct. And I think Connie reported to you this morning that there is money in the BLM budget now for that. So we're going to go ahead and shift gears, and we'll start looking at trying to make that connectivity along Road 39 between Paz Mesa Verde and that parking area. That's what we'll focus on and see if we can't come up with some good ideas and ways to improve that connectivity in there, and hopefully reduce some of the vehicular conflicts and some of the concerns that neighbors have up in there. So that'll be a refocus on that. We did attend the Dwarf meeting last week. We're moving forward on the CFLRP portion of that, and of course that's going to bring about $3 million across the entire region. And so we identified areas in Montezuma County, and we'll couple that up with the co-swap funding that's coming in, which is about $1 million, and put those projects together and try to see how far we can get with it. So that's moving ahead pretty good. And then we did have a conference call with an interested consultant for the IHOP grant, and hopefully we'll get some movement on that and get them to respond. It sounded very hopeful on that, so I feel pretty good about that. And then continuing to move ahead with the outdoor recreation grant. That's been submitted. We're trying to figure out some pieces on that yet.
It might be possible that we can expand the scope on that a little bit. My angle is really to try to take care of right-of-way with Paso Mesa Verde and also the benefit cost analysis that's a requirement for some of those federal grants. Anyway, we'll keep working on trying to cobble those together, and just want to let you know we're still working on it.
Okay.
I think that concludes my report.
All
All
right.
right,
Okay. Thank you,
very
gentlemen.
good.
You bet.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it.
I have a quick question for our emergency planner.
Okay,
And I just remembered this, but when power went down over in Mancos. Yes, sir. We lost dispatching service, from Menifee Mountain.
Yes.
And nobody seemed to know who was responsible for the backup system up there. Is there one, or, I don't know.
That's a good question. I'm still looking into that.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was a VHF repeater, not an 800.
Right.
So we were able to, improvise, adapt, and overcome, use 800 over there for Manca's fire. But the interagency dispatch knew it was down, so we had to make phone calls to dispatch during that time and not use that repeater. I had a lot of assumptions. Apparently, there's not a backup, or if there was, it's not running.
Who owns the tower?
I'll have to find out for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be responsible of the tower owner to provide backup power for their system?
Yeah, I don't know if it's required, but they should, yeah.
Yeah.
And we should have at least, it's VHF, so we should have maybe a solar site up there. We don't need a generator, but yeah, that's on my after-action report. I'm still working on.
Okay.
Find out who, why, what, why, how, when, all that stuff, so. My phone, the angels are ringing, yeah. But I'll find out for you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know. I know Manifee's set up and, not Manifee, Cavanis, sorry. Yeah, it's set up and we're okay up there, but I don't know about that Manifee site. Goodman's site, I guess, is going down. I don't think we're gonna be utilizing that repeater anymore. Dolores is set to go, so, but yeah, I don't have an answer for you, but I'll find out, yeah. Yeah,
All right, let us know.
sure.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
okay.
All right.
We have now come to an executive session.
I move we go into an executive session for a conference with the attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on a specific legal question under CRS Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses B. And you'll list the people in attendance?
Yeah, and this executive session will be for the purpose of discussing legal questions related to the Ironwood Mill. And then present in the executive session will be County Administrator Travis Anderson, County Attorney Ian McLaren, Assistant County Attorney Steve Tarnowski, Commissioner Lindsay, Commissioner Candelaria, Commissioner Copenhaver.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for a conference with the attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses B. And in that session will be Commissioners Copenhaver, Candelaria, Lindsay, Attorney McLaren, Administrator Anderson, and our clerk, Kim Purcell.
Commissioner, our clerk's not going to be present in this one.
Okay.
But our Assistant County Attorney, Stephen Tarnowski, will be there.
Okay, and Stephen Ternowski. Sorry, Kim. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 out. Okay.
Ready? Okay, I move we come out of executive session.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to exit executive session and come back into our regular meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, gentlemen, we are at the end of our agenda for the day. Anything for the good of the county? All
I
right.
do not. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn this August 9th meeting, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.